Kiri the Responsible Crow. Another story about Kiri. But this time, she doesn't repeat anymore. She's responsible enough to do everything, including running errands and chores. Well, you get the idea. Anyway, Kiri the Crow used to repeat words that other people said, which is not a good thing to do. But ever since she started school, her repeating ways just faded out and she had responsibility. After she told her preschool teacher, Miss Stella Bellafella, to get her enemies, Julia and Ralph, out of preschool and into the timeout room for being mean to Kiri and mimicking her. Of course, Kiri's responsibility is always the beginning, and she did make new friends in preschool.
From now on,
She declared.
I should do more responsible stuff for all eternity. What kind of responsibility is there for me next?
One day, during the weekend, the responsibility was about to begin. Kiri's mom, Valerie, was drawing a list of grocery items so that she and Kiri's dad, Fred, can get what they need. Valerie called out,
Kiri? Yes, Mommy? Could you come here, please? I have something to tell you.
and Kiri went downstairs to see Valerie.
Kiri?
She said,
You did so well in preschool by not repeating and by using your responsibility. I think we're going on a grocery outing with Dad. It'll be fun. And I can't leave you here with nothing to do. That's a big no-no. Of course I'll come with you, Mom.
agreed Kiri.
Oh, good.
Said Valerie,
And
added Kiri.
I won't ask for bad treats, including candy. You'll give me a tummy ache. We can only get helping items.
Valerie smiled and said,
That's a good crow. Off we go to the store.
A few minutes later, Valerie, Fred, and their daughter Kiri arrived at the special grocery store called the Grocery Store for Humans and Birds. In fact, this store welcomes every person there, including all different kinds of birds, including crows,
Here we are, Kiri.
said Valerie.
The grocery store for humans and birds. Wow!
Exclaimed Kiri.
I guess that means us since we're all crows.
You're right, said Fred. Crows are one of the different types of birds. And look at the size of this store. It's a big supermarket. They got everything we need,
Well, what are we waiting for?
said Valerie.
Let's go grocery shopping.
The family went inside the grocery store for humans and birds. And as it turns out, Fred was right. This store is one giant supermarket, just like other supermarkets elsewhere. The family enjoyed it. So far, they looked everywhere from left to right by using their eyes and not by walking around just yet. After all, first things first. Valerie wrote a list of grocery items the entire family needs, including milk, rye bread, bananas, eggs, calzone, salad, cheese, and so on until they get everything they need. Before Valerie, Fred, and Kiri started shopping, Valerie gave instructions to each and every one of them. They must stick together as a family and never wander off. And of course, they must never repeat what others say. Kiri has learned her lesson, so I'm sure she'll remember that. The parents and Kiri started their grocery shopping with their card made for birds and kept a close look for the items they need. And whenever her mom and dad need something up on the high shelf, it's up to Kiri to fly up there and get it for them. After all, she is a little crow, and all crows can fly, as well as other birds. About 15 minutes later, more or less, Kiri and her parents had finished the grocery items on the list. Now there was only one more thing left to do, and that is to scan all of the grocery items they got and pay for them before they forget. And of course, they won't forget. The grocery store for humans and birds has many checkout aisles. In this store, everyone has to pay in two separate ways. Humans pay for the items with regular money. As for different kinds of birds, including crows, robins, parakeets, cardinals, bluebirds, and others, they have to pay with this type of money, bird money. After Kiri and her parents scanned the items from the list and paid for them with their bird money, their budget worked out just fine. When Kiri, Valerie, and Fred were finished paying for the groceries and were about to head their way home, there was trouble.
Help! Help! We're lost!
Cried some voices. It was the sound of a couple of children who were lost inside the grocery store for humans and birds, and they needed help fast,
Oh my goodness!
gasped Kiri.
They're cries for help! Some of the children are lost! I must save them!
Then she said to her parents,
Don't no wait! I'll be right back! The children are lost in the store! No time to explain!
and off she flew. Kiri flew inside the grocery store for humans and birds and searched high and low for the lost children until at last Kiri had found them. But she was surprised to see,
Amy and Ellen? What are you two doing here? Well,
said Ellen,
we were getting groceries for our parents, but
added Amy,
we ended up lost in this big grocery store and we can't find our parents anywhere. Don't worry,
replied Kiri.
I'll find your mommies and daddies quickly if you come with me. Okay,
Said Amy and Ellen, and Kiri flew with them to find their parents. Seconds later, Kiri found them. Kiri's good deed of finding two lost children and bringing them back to their parents was done. So Kiri flew out for the grocery store for humans and birds to see her parents once again. She told them exactly what happened to Amy and Ellen and how she sent them back to their parents correctly. Valerie and Fred were so impressed by Kiri's responsible action and bravery that they gave Kiri 3 cheers and a hip hip hooray! What a wonderful time Kiri had! She felt proud of herself. She didn't know what else to say. What other responsibility could she think of next? Cheering up Julia Ralph comes next on Kiri's responsibility list. Right now, Julia and Ralph are in a bad mood. Don't ask me why, though. It's a long story for them. Fortunately, there is a way to seize the awful mood. Kiri flew into Julia and Ralph's house to see them,
you again.
complained Julie.
Kiri,
Ralph said sternly,
why don't you...
interrupted Kiri.
You two need to have better manners. I can't let you stay in nasty moods forever. The only solution that's really popular nowadays is by doing yoga breathing. Watch me breathe and do what I do.
Kiri breathed in and then breathed out. Julia Ralph did the same thing. And with a few times more, Julia Ralph felt much better.
See?
Said Kiri.
That wasn't so hard. No, it wasn't.
Agreed Ralph.
You made us happy.
Smiled Julie.
We're so sorry about what we did. From now on,
Finished Ralph.
we'll behave more often. And we'll go on adventures too. We hope you'll have more responsibilities in school. I know we will.
And just like that, the next day after the weekend, Kiri did use responsibilities in preschool. She gave her teacher, Miss Stella Bellafella, an apple just like the kids back in the olden days. She gasped and felt so proud of Kiri for bringing her an apple from the apple tree or the grocery store for humans and birds that she thanked her. During class, Kiri handed out the school worksheets for the children, including hers, so that everyone can learn to write letters and numbers, words, sentences, and more. That's another responsibility for Kiri. And she even cleaned up after herself before the school day ended. Now she has a lot of responsibilities in her hands. In fact, she can handle them anywhere. And that's Kiri's responsible story. As for Julie and Ralph, I'm sure they did the same thing. One day, Kiri, Julie, and Ralph will be hanging out together. But that's another story. The end.